Hey everybody, it's Dr. William Clark here for Leadership Conversations. This is the show where we talk about leadership according to the world that matters to you. Want to encourage all of you out there who is thinking about launching something. I want to share something with you that perhaps others may not have shared with you, or that you may not have gathered from all the YouTube videos, Instagram videos, Facebook videos that you've watched of people launching new ministries, new businesses, new nonprofits. And that is, sometimes when you launch, you might be by yourself. It seems really sexy to say I'm going to have a team to launch with me, to launch my business, my ministry, my nonprofit. And ideally, you should have a team launching with you. But the reality is, when you launch an idea, many times you're going to be by yourself, because really a lot of people are tired. They are busy. They're in the middle of working on something else that's important to them. And it's difficult to convince people to be a part of your vision, because they might be working on something that they're working on, or they might be working on something very competitive to what you have going on. To that end, for whatever reason, you find yourself by yourself, don't think it's abnormal and don't think you are not being successful. Let me just share with you that sometimes launching by yourself is all that you can do, and perhaps all you should do, to ensure that you establish a foundation for your business, your nonprofit, or your ministry. It can be very complicated and convoluted when a bunch of people are involved in your work, in your ministry. And it can be confusing when they have something to say, an opinion to provide, and they're not really bought into the work that you are working on. So to that particular end, you might find it helpful that you are by yourself in this moment, in a launch phase of your business. One of the things I've learned over the years is that when you are by yourself in a venture and it's a heavy lift, you have to have some strong systems in place. Systems are processes or steps you take to accomplish a goal or a series of goals. If you're a dysfunctional, disorganized, non-time managing individual, it's very difficult for you to embrace the idea of systems, because systems force you to be on a timeline. It forces you to be time bound. It forces you to focus. It forces you to sometimes work on one task at a time. It forces you to develop processes that you've never had to develop before. And I'm telling you, a system will make a difference in your ability to accomplish more. What you then realize when you develop a system is you might find opportunities to systematize the system. That is, you can apply technology to your work or to a system, put it on a timer, set it, and forget it. And because you're able to put it on a systematic timer or apply technology to it, you may realize that I don't have to work on that as intensively as I used to. Now I can work on another system. And the more systems you build that are operating at the same time, especially as you're starting by yourself, you begin to realize, wow, I can work on what really matters most to me, because I've automated some of the key areas of my business one piece at a time. And depending on where you live, geography matters. Depending on what's going on in your community, you may realize that you're going to be working by yourself for a season. So the other thing you might want to think about is hiring virtual staff. Virtual staff are people who don't live in your geographic area, but who are paid by you to perform a task. One of my favorite websites is Fiverr. There's another site that I like a lot, and that's Belay. And there are a bunch of other virtual assistant sites where you can hire people to work on key projects that are highly visible, very important, and quite frankly, you don't have the time to work on it. So instead of wasting your time and your money on projects and resources that you're not that good at, or is too time consuming, even if you're good at it, you might be better off investing your time in one, systems. Do not forget systems. But number two, purchasing the services of a virtual assistant or virtual staff. When you begin to think about investing your money in virtual staff and investing your money in systems, you will realize, I don't really need my friends to help me launch my project. I don't really need my family to help me launch my project. I can launch the project on my own, the business on my own, and hire virtual staff, especially if it's a home-based business. Now, you may say, I need staff because I have a physical location. Great. Number one, get a system. Consider if you can hire virtual assistants to help you with the physical building and business you're working on. But number 3, one particular strategy you cannot forget is, again, this goes back to investment in people. You might want to hire temp staff and work with a temp agency. Temp agencies have a Rolodex of people who are ready, willing, and able to work right now. If you have the money to pay them, if you're generating the revenue, if you've saved the money, or if you have the credit to get the money to pay people, that might be an awesome resource, whether it's a small business, whether it's a nonprofit, or a ministry. These strategies work. And let me just step back for a moment when I talk about systems as an individual person launching a project. For example, many of us who are on social media may have multiple social media platforms. And as you know, posting to a variety of social media platforms can be very time consuming. It might be in your best interest to develop a system by way of purchasing a social media manager platform that allows you to post to all your platforms one time. You can even set schedules. You can upload bulks of posts that you want to post on a schedule for the next 30, 60, 90, 180 days. Also, you might want to consider buying ads on social media so you can post it one time and have it replaying over and over and over again in the timeline of people who are interested in what you got to share and sell. So all these things matter when you're launching. And I encourage you, do not be discouraged or do not be held back because you don't, quote, have a core team, or you don't have a staff, or you don't have family and friends supporting you. You can support yourself by, 1, getting off your butt and launching that project, launching that business, launching that ministry. Number 2, developing a system or systems. That means you got to get organized. You got to get out of the idea of being spontaneous and saying, I don't like to be organized and time bound. Use your calendar, organize yourself, do what you got to do, get project management software. Number 3, consider investing in virtual staff. Even if it's administrative related tasks, hiring a virtual staff will save you a bunch of struggles and time and energy and effort and stress. And number 4, hiring through temp agencies. I'll put a number 5 out there. There are a lot of nonprofits who do workforce development for youth, young adults, returning citizens, moms, veterans, grandparents, you name it. There are organizations, nonprofits who train people to get out there and work. And many of these people are looking for an awesome opportunity to expand their capacity and to serve in some way. Perhaps you might want to consider looking at a handful of local nonprofits in your community who are focused on workforce development, especially for certain population groups you have a heart for, that can help you fill open positions in your business. In some cases, you're going to have to teach people how to raise their bar of performance. You're going to have to coach them along. And in some cases, you may find a diamond in the rough. They just had a hard time, but man, they got some skills that you don't have to teach or coach, and they are ready to help you in your business. And you might find that it might not cost you an arm and a leg. I'm just saying. This is Dr. William Clark for Leadership Conversations. I hope you find this helpful. If this is not for you, go ahead and share. Share it with family and friends. Share it on your timeline. Share it if you do like it. Share it. Of course, like it, love it on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and your favorite podcasting platform. My goal is to get you ready and get you on your way to do what you're called to do and to be your very best self. This is the purpose of this podcast. So why don't you go ahead and share it? Be a good friend, be a good relative, share it. And if it benefits you, leave a comment. Let me know how it's helping you, how it's benefiting you. This is Dr. William Clark for Leadership Conversations. We'll see you in the next show. Peace.